There we go again with Kyle McCaffrey. How are you
How you
doing,
doing?
Kyle?
Good. How are
Second
you?
conversation. I'm good too. Second conversation about hero bells, kettlebells, exercise, health. So today we're thinking about presenting or talking a little bit about my experience. There is a week. I started my exercise on Sunday.
Hmm.
Okay, my personal, I have followed. Now I'm giving him the feedback of my exercise, and it has been a much better week, I would say. Uh, I don't know if that is related to the exercise, but I am more disposed in the like second or third day after the first exercise, and of course sore as well. And but I am feeling more benefits than the pain, and it's going away.
That's
It's
excellent.
about
That's good. So that you're talking about the soreness is going away.
Yeah, the first day I did a leg exercise workout. I'll
Hmm.
put a little card here for whoever wants to exercise with me or on the same list. I've made a list in my channel that I'm putting the challenge days that I have used from your uh, channel. So they are going to go straight to your channel to the videos that I've used originally.
Hmm.
And yeah, I did the leg exercise on Sunday, and on Tuesday I did a combination of arm and abdominals
Hmm.
because I'm adapting a little bit, and those adaptations is something else that we wanted to bring to the conversation today. So the adaptation is because I have some back problems and back pain, so I'm adapting some exercise to my condition as well to be an indoor in a exercise in an apartment. So there is some jumping exercise that I don't feel comfortable of doing because
Hmm.
of my neighbors downstairs. And I would say maybe shoes adaptation because sometimes I would use sneakers to do it outdoor, and when I'm indoor I'm using like more Pilates socks, or I've tried the barefoot, and I had because of the sweating, even
Hmm.
like 10 minutes exercise, they are hard exercise that make you sweat, and the sweating make you slipper
Yep.
is slippery
Slippery.
the floor. Yeah, so I adapted with the like one of those rubbery socks
Hmm.
or a light shoe,
Right. Right.
like one of those for swimming. There are light ones as well. And my personal adaptation, because I was completely in a sedentary mode before that, was like I did not put weights yet. And
Right.
even though I had that much sore, so leg exercise and the arm exercise, a little bit on the push-ups,
Yep.
uh, and abdominals,
Absolutely.
and combining with a little bit of aerobics. I like dancing, so I put a little just dance
That's
and
fantastic.
get like 30 minutes before or after, and that makes me sweat a little bit more because I'm seeking losing some weight. So,
Right.
and yeah,
That's good.
that
That's
is
that. I couldn't recommend that enough.
that's nice. And what I would say is like I have had fun going through your channel and your videos and selecting. Sometimes I end up watching videos that I don't do not do that day, but then I program to do next day or so.
Hmm.
Some that I see like the those standing on the walls, I'm not ready for that. I'm
Yep.
postponing those like more like 15, 20 days. Maybe I will when I'm gonna run that risk.
Yeah. No. And you know what? That's the when I first started getting into fitness. I was like right now I'm about 185, 187 pounds. Um, and at one point I was 210 pounds, and I was really big. I had quite a bit of fat on me, and I watched one video, and it showed me three movements that I had to do, in a, and there was no real time limit. I just put the time limit onto myself, um, but I couldn't do it at first. I thought, oh, this is going to be too hard, and it was. It was way too hard. I couldn't. I was always out of breath. I couldn't do the movements without feeling pain, and I kept trying them and watching the video over and over again until it was easy. And that's actually probably one of the best pieces of advice that I can give somebody is find a video, even if it's whether it's one of mine or not, preferably one of mine. And if even if it's difficult, difficult is good as long as you're not in a tremendous amount of pain, and keep doing it until it's easy.
Definitely. That is one of the things I kind of naturally did, was like to adapt to my condition. So I was like feeling too sedentary. I was like, I'm not going to start with the weight. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a good choice. I did the 10 minutes leg workout for beginners with no weights. I had difficulty to finish it. The jumping, I was not comfortable to jump, but I tried some jumps and I saw that I was tired enough to not be able to do it if I chose to.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I wanted, I probably would not be able to finish the jumping. And I was really sore the next day. I needed some massage to spread all that lactic acid
Right,
that
right.
accumulated.
That's good.
And and on the next day, what I chose to do was like I need to do the arm ones because I can't really exercise legs
Mm-hmm.
yet. I was still sore, and then but I'm feeling like it really more disposed with that, and that was something that I was talking to you before about how good it is to see the relation cause effect of exercising and feeling the results in the next day, so you know you did it right,
Mm-hmm.
even if it was short, was like a 10 minutes exercise that you can fit any anywhere in your day, you
That's
know.
right. That's
it
exactly right.
You don't really need to have the weight. You can just like have your phone, put that video on, do it in the park, in the
Mm-hmm.
gap, even in the at work, you know, if you have some room. I used to work in bases where we do have like the outdoor, and I would run around the base. If I had this exercise at that time, I would be totally into that already. You know,
Absolutely.
but that is one thing that I think it's good to keep the continuity of the exercise. It's like when it's something practical that you can just fit in your day that easy, there's no reason for you to drop, because normally we find those excuses like I don't have money, I don't have time, you know, I have to go to the gym. And this one you can't find this excuse. You're gonna be into it forever.
Yep. And not only that, but believe it or not, that you really can get a workout that will make a difference, even in as little as a few minutes. You know, you if you know how to use certain tools, you find ways to make things very efficient for yourself, especially the more you know what you're capable of. So for myself, if I have no time in my day to be able to do anything, I'll at least do kettlebell swings for 2 minutes. And doing that for 2 minutes is exhausting and you will be sore. But obviously, it doesn't replace a full workout, but it's more than enough to get you through your day, to release the endorphins, maybe break a sweat, um, and at least feel like you did something the next day.
Yes, definitely. And yes, and now the next step, what I'm thinking, I already shopped online a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and is getting my weights on my measurement as well, you know. So I'm starting with like a little weights on the legs, like a kilo for each,
Mm-hmm.
and getting my kettlebell as the smallest one possible. I think is a 5 kilo one,
Yep.
and starting with that, and then I'll roll up with the channel. And what I'm planning is like making this list,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can cycle it again whenever I reach a level that I was like I can restart over the challenge, and
Right.
just cycle it and add some of as you add as well. I'm following you really close, and
Yep.
I think yeah, we're here to invite people. Everybody come to exercise with us. Has been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, the exercises you don't even need a lot of equipment. You don't need any
Oh,
to be completely factual to be able to get a great workout and make your body stronger and better for the rest of your life. You have everything you need because you're born with it, so you'll be all right.
it's really interesting how it works so much your body, because it feels like when I remember when I used to just do uh, weight and
Mm-hmm.
in the gym and pull a lot of weight, uh, as everybody, most of people probably do. And I had to stop to do physiotherapy because of my spine problems
Right.
for 6 months, and then I changed the indication of next level of exercise that I could restart again would be RPG, Pilates, yoga, and I chose doing the Pilates without
Hmm.
not knowing, and I arrived there, and it was just like those slowly, no way exercise, and I was frustrated at first time because it's like this will never work out,
Hmm.
to me because I like pushing
Hmm.
weight and pulling
Hmm.
heavy weight.
Yes.
And I was so wrong in the first day. I was so challenged because the exercises were so difficult. I could not
Yes.
finish. It was just about breathing and doing the exercise, the movement properly, and concentrating on getting those muscles tense.
Yep.
And it was so hard, and I was so sorry the next day. So yeah, it totally changed my mind. And I think the same thing with the hero bells, because everybody thinks like a 2 minutes exercise, 10 minutes exercise, and it's the same feeling.
Hmm.
It's impressive. It's that it works out. You it's challenging.
Hmm.
It's hard to finish, and it makes you sore the next day as well.
Absolutely. And you can't Pilates. I can't recommend Pilates enough, especially if you're just beginning. If you have the access to the internet, obviously you have access to YouTube if you're watching this. Um, then definitely seek out some bodyweight movements, and Pilates is fantastic for building up the stability in your major support structures around your shoulders and your hips. And that's where,
Exactly.
even for myself, somebody who is fairly seasoned with exercise, I did do some Pilates, and I tell
I
you,
think it's important.
yes, it challenges your ego. That's for sure.
And more than that, it's like the Pilates works out some muscle groups, small muscle groups that we don't exercise in the gym, or doing like those heavy weight pulling that are stabilizers of the joints and all these problems that you normally have, like knees and elbows and shoulders, end up like being uh, those little muscles that we are not aware and
Hmm.
that are so important, and
Hmm.
to stabilize those movements, and important for us to do the other level of doing the heavy
Yes,
weight
well,
and
actually,
doing the kettle and do fast movements like
that's
that.
right. And doing that first. If you're building up all your structures properly, your support structures around your major joints, the hips and the shoulders and the spine, if you take care of that first, you're really setting yourself up for long-term success. You can make many mistakes. I mean, I've made mistakes, and I didn't when I first got into exercising. It was bodybuilding, and I screwed up my shoulders almost right away because nobody had taught me. All I wanted to do was, just lift this weight overhead or in some awkward position that I didn't have
Yeah.
the stability of the joint to be able to do properly. I can still muscle it out, but the body is a master of compensation, and Pilates does a good job of tempering that problem,
Yeah.
tempering your ego.
Yeah. Uh, so other factors that we can put together with the kettlebells, with the hero bells exercising, uh, to improve your health, your life, and your disposition. We talked about just bringing the Pilates as something that could help, but not to overwhelm people with too much exercise. I would say it's better we just work out a little bit sometimes on the diet, and
Mm-hmm.
we have talked about this as well. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to a nutritionist in the channel
Excellent.
to talk specific about the keto diet. That is the diet that me and Nat, my husband, your friend, it's going through. We are going through the keto diet, and it's been hard because it's really difficult to drop sugars and carbohydrates. So we are in the process of getting it. But we have been able to stop the pop. That was an addiction for both of us,
Mm-hmm.
and we have felt results. uh, losing weight already just before exercising.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, the keto diet
And
is very effective.
I know you're really into the to diets. You always give little tips and talk about
Hmm.
eating food and what it would be your suggestions, or
Um,
what is your personal diet?
my personal diet is, because I also exercise quite a bit, and I'm fairly new, I'm not new to doing diets or to be on a diet or eating healthy. I'm not new to that. So I know how to manage it really well. And it's something that everybody learns as you go on, of what you can manage. But at first, especially if you're trying to put on mass or lose fat, being a little bit more strict with yourself is actually a pretty essential. So the first three things that I would do, or the first thing that I would do, is eliminate what Laird Hamilton, he's a professional surfer, one thing he said to do is eliminate the three white devils, which would be bread, sugar, and dairy. That's probably the best thing you can do. For as far as my diet goes, I still have bread, but because I'm burning so many calories in a day, I'm always in a calorie deficit.
You need,
If
yeah,
you watch my videos, my skin is getting like super thin,
yeah.
and you can see all sorts of striations in the muscles and all sorts of things like that. That's because I'm in a calorie deficit, and sometimes I'm dehydrated. Um, so for me, what people can't really do what I do. However, that being said, if I'm trying to be strict with myself, it's of course eliminating those three things, drinking a lot of water, and in your case, it would be a lot of protein and even more fat.
Yes, yes. So you run into this deficit is because you can't access enough food and you exercise too much, like throughout your day.
Yes.
You're not home, you're running around, and you really can't do like big meals, and you're just
Um,
running around and exercising.
yeah, I pretty much give myself a feeding window, like a window of time where I can get as much calories in as possible, with it provided it's under maybe 3,000 calories of reasonably healthy calories. So I'm not just drinking beer, although I will have a beer, but
You should.
yeah, but for the most part, I'll eat.
One a day?
What, a beer?
Yeah,
Yeah, about that, one or
about
two.
that. Yeah, actually, yeah, because of course, try to not reach the level of alcoholism. But
Yes.
yeah, and it's like, but the beer also has like protein and a lot of carbohydrates, so it's a good thing for. And after a workout, when I used to go to the gym, I would treat me myself with a beer
Yeah.
at night before bed.
And you know what? Once your body has made the adaptation to being a fat burning machine, that's really not an issue. And if
Yeah.
you're doing the keto diet, getting yourself in and out of ketosis is not as difficult as time goes on. So it becomes much more tenable to be able to take on, let's just say, crappy foods. If you wanted to have a piece of bread, or a carbohydrate in the form of, let's say, a lot of
Oh
fruit.
yeah.
Maybe you want a bowl of cherries or something like that, and maybe it has 200 grams of carbohydrates. Your body will be more in tuned to being able to process that.
Yes, yes. I'm not the best one in diets. I don't like restrictive diets unless you really need in case of allergies
Hmm.
for in special cases, so uh, unless you are into like this, you are allergic to something, I would not say to do any restrictive diet, but mainly because I would like not stop myself from eating something when I feel like
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I allow myself to eat pretty much everything. Not
Hmm.
kidding. I do.
Well,
So
when
I'm
you
trying to keep the pop away just because we do get into the regularity of eating, of drinking pops
hmm
all the time, and then it gets so banalized to use. We have done that and using so much that we don't even have pleasure out of getting it anymore.
right, it's just
So
compulsion.
Yeah. So yeah, the pop I'm cutting off, and I am uh, since I came from Brazil, cutting all the white devils. Naturally, I don't really have rice because in Brazilian, it's interesting because in the diet, the Brazilian diet, the rice and beans is an everyday lunch and dinner
Hmm.
food in
Hmm.
the main meal.
Hmm.
It's really interesting. But since I moved to Canada, I dropped the rice and I have eaten less bread since I decided to do the keto.
Hmm.
But it's really hard to cut carbohydrates. It's a source. It's a great source of energy and easy and cheap and easy to storage as well. So,
Hmm.
like, who doesn't like pasta? Who doesn't eat
Yep.
like pasta? I would eat the pasta once a week.
I tend to.
Uh,
Well, that's the thing is that for me, I find that the more restrictive the diet is, the greater chance of neuroticism there is, and that can be detrimental because if you drive yourself crazy with neuroticism, you're less likely to
you're
continue.
pushing yourself too hard, yeah,
Yeah.
on
So
priving yourself.
yeah. So once a week, I'll have a good, really powerful carbohydrate pasta. Just something ridiculous that no one should eat. I'll eat it.
Should you not increase your this recipe for like more than once a week because of your necessity,
No,
or
I'd
you
like.
you you don't want to, you're seeking to keep like that or
Well, right
gain a
now,
little bit?
what the only thing that I'm going to increase would probably not be carbohydrates. It's just that as time goes on, protein doesn't isn't getting cheaper. Some fats are still and proteins are still relatively cheap, but for the most part, carbohydrates for me are the most plentiful food source that I have at the moment, which will change in the future. And of course, I'll get into more proteins and fats, like I said. But
More
I feel like
proteins
I
and
missed your
fats?
questions.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, yeah.
No,
You
it's
said
just
would I
because I
eat more
asked
carb?
if you would not be good for your condition because you mentioned that you're in deficit, in
Yeah.
this running. So would it not be
No,
good for you to eat the pasta every day?
no, because I do get adverse effects. So of course you get the sleepiness, which everyone
Yes,
can report. In I'll get indigestion after a period of time, and then I'll start to have breakouts on my skin. My skin will be affected. I will produce oils that just don't seem to work well with my skin.
I see. I
What
see.
else? It will affect my sleeping habits. Everything gets affected, and of course, performance.
I see. Yeah, no, I understand. I have not missed that much eating the, that much carbohydrate that I would eat in Brazil. I really don't miss it. In the beginning, it's hard. I miss I miss more like the rice
Hmm.
because we were really rice eaters in my house. Maybe because my father is Japanese and we really love rice.
Yeah, I
Funny
love it.
stereotype.
I don't know who doesn't like rice.
And so I do miss rice most of the times. The thing I miss and bread because there are so many options and it's so versatile to eat bread.
Hmm.
But I do think we should eat less carbohydrate. And the one thing that I wanted to mention is because I talked about the beer. I would treat myself with the beer every day when I was working out, going to the gym every day. But
Hmm.
I don't do that anymore. I'm already 30 something. I'm already 34. And I don't think it's like I would not drink alcohol every day. I don't used to even like regular. I don't do regularly, and socially it's very rare. And I would drink like one beer and being passing out because I'm just not used anymore to
Hmm.
it. So, but I think if you are spending, like you said, if you're putting yourself in a condition that you are consuming
Hmm.
and reasonably you can make this math on like I'm losing, I'm gaining, I need to change, adapt my diet and exercise quantities and levels. It's a great thing. And if you are aware about that already, it's the first step. It's something good.
Cutting out alcohol in general for at least for the first while is going to be really smart. I would just say, just guarantee yourself 6 weeks, and then doing kind of something what you did where you're setting up a reward system is really, really good. So set up a reward for after 6 weeks, and also once you've started to make the adaptation where you're, say, gaining mass or losing fat, uh, after about 6 weeks, then start setting yourself up a type of reward for something that you're promising yourself to go through with it, because it's usually right around the 6 week mark that most people start to really fail. When they're no matter how serious you are, that's when you tend to be the most vulnerable, because you feel like, especially when you see results, you rest on your laurels. Do you know what I mean? You just like, oh, I made it, I'm good. You can't. You got to stick with it and just set yourself up with saying, hey, I'm going to reward myself after 6 weeks. And then once you're done with that reward, you promise yourself that you go back to the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Okay, of course, you, like we said, try to avoid the neuroses, because those mechanisms can be open with, like, trying to reward or trying to do. Be reasonable about what you want to get, and set those marks. When I reach that mark, I can allow myself to do something, or else. And yeah, and be reasonable,
Mm-hmm.
like with the exercise as well, because we know that in the same level, people get harm from over exercising, from over diet. And we we are here trying to talk about middle accurate point of using those methods,
Mm-hmm.
you know so yeah, other health issues: diet, hydration, sleep.
Sorry, what was your
What are
question?
other habits that you would say that are good for you to change? Oh, how much you feel like you talked about consuming carbohydrates and the sleepiness and the laziness.
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, do you take naps in the middle of the day? I see your vlogs sometimes. You talk about, like, yeah, today I'm tired. I would like to run home and take a little nap.
Yep. Sometimes, well,
People in
sometimes
Spain
I'll.
take like those siestas, no? Or
Yes and no. It's more like a time of rest and quiet. So some people sleep, some people don't. There's still some shops that are still open, and it's not a religious thing at all, really. It's just sometimes it gets so hot that there's really no point. Not a lot gets done even when there isn't a siesta,
I see.
and so it
You
just
think
gets
it
so
is
hot
more
that
climate related, so people were kind of forced to have this because it,
well,
it gets.
the rumor is that it was a farming thing, and because it was so hot midday, the farmers would take a break midday around 2 p.m. until about 4 or 5.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, no, I see. It happens a lot. When I don't feel that much taking the nap after lunch here in Canada as I would feel in Brazil. And there is something with the climate. It's really hot there, and you feel really tired after eating
Hmm.
in those temperatures that
Yeah.
we reach those places. It's
It.
also because it, of course, it's a circadian cycle.
Hmm.
It's very personal as well.
Yep.
People, the sleepiness, and the nap in the middle of the day. I've watched some videos talking about the chemicals related to this sleepiness, and
Hmm.
saying that this feeling sleep in the middle of the day, you only gonna get that level of almost falling asleep by yourself in the middle of the day or after lunch when you have not slept enough during the night. So again, we talk about how important it is to go through a pattern, or
Like a proper
find
circadian rhythm.
to find yours. Not, there is no right or wrong pattern of sleep. You need to find the one that fits better to you.
Well,
Would be
I'm at least for myself, I subscribe to the notion that trying to eliminate the amount of blue light you take in for a given period of time. So if for me,
at
blue light,
least
the
in the
obvious
end of
one
the
is
day. Yes.
Yeah, so getting off your phone past 9 p.m. is probably the best thing you could do. Or, staying away from screens, that kind of thing. Try to find any way you can. Are you there?
Yes.
Oh, okay, the screen just froze.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I
oh, there
see.
we go. It's back.
Only on your side. Yeah, I think it maybe just on your side. It didn't
Okay.
happen here. But you
Um,
can see after in the record.
yeah, just trying to eliminate as much blue light as possible. So even if you can, invest in some blackout curtains or something like that, or just put blankets over there that are over your windows that are going to make the room as dark as possible. Is going to be really good for your sleep, especially if you're trying to perform very well when you're working out. Your sleep is very important. So the times where you see in my vlog where I am taking a nap, that's not very common. I usually sleep more poorly when I'm sore. So if I'm really sore, I might not sleep well, and then it'll get to midday, and my body is just saying, please no more. And if depending on what's happening in the day, then I'll just have uh, maybe 10 to 20 minutes where I might just shut my eyes, and that's it. I might not sleep, but it's regenerative.
Is that common for you to be sore because you exercise so much,
Um,
or you need to be doing something like different? There is a one day a week that you do some challenge. You challenge yourself doing something harder. What is it?
well, there's pardon me one sec. Um, it's not common for me to be terribly sore if I do what I'm supposed to do properly. Meaning that I've eaten, I've slept, I'm hydrated, and what more importantly, I did some recovery movements. So meaning I've stretched, I've used a foam roller, or I've massaged my legs, or used a lacrosse ball and worked out some knots in my legs or something like that. If I get all those things done and I check those boxes, I tend to be able to I could work out almost every day.
Nice.
But on top of the exercises I do just for me, I also exercise with my clients sometimes so that they understand the movements and how to do things more accurately.
Yeah.
So then
I,
I'm very tired.
no, I actually wanted to mention that it's really nice. I don't know how other people will feel the experience of exercising with you throughout your videos, but I have had like no problem of like playing on. I put on my big TV in front of in the middle of the and I dance or exercise in the middle of my living room. So I put on a big screen your video, and I don't need to pause or replay. I just do it as I would be there with you and someone else. Normally, it's someone exercising with you.
So it's fairly easy to follow along.
It's easy to follow. You don't and there is something interesting because the next conversation is going to be about the challenge and the people in Brazil doing the
Mm-hmm.
challenge. Some of the guys dropped the challenge. They are not. I don't know. I don't know
That's
the
okay.
reasons.
Well, if you guys are
But we
watching,
have.
get back on the horse.
But one of the thing I tried to mention, because I don't know if maybe the language would be something that is scared then, saying because they do not speak English. And I talked to one of them that is still in the challenge. It's like, the language will not be deterrent in any way because you don't need to understand what he's saying. You just follow the video. You can play it mute and just follow you, and follow really like you change the because you do follow the time. You're doing it in real time, and that's what I wanted to mention. So you're doing in real time, and we can follow it in real time and do not need to follow by language. You can just follow as you do in the exercise in the gym. Just
Mm-hmm.
follow the movements, and
That's right.
it's pretty easy. So yeah, you don't need to know the language to follow the exercise and follow your channel. Was something I wanted to mention to people. Well, the Brazilian ones that maybe think language could be something that would be difficult to follow your channel is not a problem.
Yeah, well,
And
with some things are a little bit more difficult. I would recommend that they do any of the body weight stuff. So nothing with weights. I would recommend that they do those videos, and they could not have the sound on. But once it starts getting more technical, it would be something that Um, it would be a good idea to either have somebody maybe have somebody translate it. I think you could
Yes,
put
yes.
captions on for Portuguese too.
Can we can My problem right now is because I have a list of things, like I have too many projects and a list of subtitles to make that I have not worked in, and I cannot find time to put into it.
Yeah, it's a
Literally.
lot of work. It's a lot of
I
work.
need I needed I need a 36 hours day to realize all my projects. But
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. I know exactly what
and
you
be
mean.
able to do the internal work, because there is all this, like it's not just record here, we do a little bit on editing, shave a little bit, and then the subtitles are really technical, really mechanical, just type, 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 and it takes long. You will have to listen and pause and correct it. I normally like to do the closed captions, so because normally it doesn't come good, the automatic one. So
Hmm.
I need to close captions first, and then later I work, because I already will have the timing. Then I work into the subtitles and translating,
Right.
listening, translating. But it's ridiculous the amount of time that a 10 minutes video can take hours. and
Absolutely.
and now I have like 2 hours and 30 minutes interview to like yeah, the shortest ones are like 10 minutes when I cut into small pieces. It gets really hard to do. I don't know.
You know
So
what? You could. There's always something that you could do, and it's just like there's not enough time in the day.
yes, but one thing that I'm planning on doing, and that's why I have add your videos in this folder. It's Move Your Body with Kyle McCaffrey is the name of folder on my channel that
Okay.
has your videos. And what I have done, it's or maybe I have changed it for Hero Bells with Kyle McCaffrey, because I wanted to really relate to your channel and send people to your channel. I have added your videos, and those videos are for me the ones that I have followed and they are good, and I can try to later work on the subtitles. No, it's a plan in the future. One day,
One
who
day.
knows what? Yeah, one day they will have subtitles. I plan on working on
Good.
that.
Good.
It's just it's just a lot of projects and a lot of talks. So uh, about today, I think we're really good. If you want to add something, please feel comfortable. We're here to hear you. We're here to hear you.
Well, honestly, all I can say is just keep trying, no matter what. Just keep trying, and if provided you're not in pain, just carry on. Do the best you can with your diet. Stay away from the three white devils. Drink lots of water. Get a lot of sleep, and if you don't have time in a day, find any way you can. You don't find any way you can to create more time for you to sleep and to enjoy yourself. Um, I think that's one of the big things that I'm really trying to implement and express to people on how important enjoyment is in your exercises, because it's not even so much consistency; it's as much as it's also life balance. So, for instance, the people who want to say lose fat, that's one metric that you is completely obtainable, and you will reach your goal if you're consistent and you keep doing all the things you're supposed to be doing. But the difference is that once you've reached that goal, the question becomes what's next. And it can be another it can be another metric. It could be I want to be able to bench press or squat a certain amount, and those are all good, but you need to be certain that that's exactly what you want. Whereas if you say I want to be able to punch a punching bag 200 times in a minute or something. I don't know what a reasonable number is, but then that would be your goal. And then, therefore, your results in terms of losing fat would likely be an inevitability, and you've reached the goal of being able to hit the bag 200 times.
Yeah.
So, and you've enjoyed it because you wanted to hit the bag, you wanted to get into you wanted to do some boxing or whatever it is, and so it's really, really intelligent to attach your physical training to a bigger goal.
It is. It is. It's and the challenge idea. It's also to, like you said, it's like the markers or put yourself that point you want to reach, to challenge yourself to be your own hero.
Hmm,
It's your slogan.
that's right.
That thing on challenging yourself. It's something that makes changes the perspective of your days,
That's right.
because
Yeah.
you seeking for that goal, you focusing on something. It's we I've talked about this when we talk. That's going to be a topic for the next conversation, the no fab movement, on like changing habits and focusing.
Hmm.
It's all about that. And we are brain, intellectual and physical,
That's
and
right.
we need to work both together
That's right.
reasonably to get the goals we want, to reach
Hmm.
those goals we want. And that's going to be a really nice conversation for next time.
Okay.
For next time. So yeah, thank you very much for coming. I will stop the recording and we can just keep going, lady. I'm going to say my bye. If you want to talk about your channel, just give the link or description, or how they can find you on YouTube. I think maybe we missed that the last time, and I will stop from here. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching. I have not done many of the closing. Thank you very much for following the interviews, and keep keep commenting below and subscribe, bell notifications. And Kyle, it's your turn. Say your bye and let us know how to find you.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and I look forward to seeing your comments on my channel. Also, you can just search Hero Bells. You can find me on Facebook under the same name, and then on Instagram, unfortunately, I couldn't get the same name. It's hero_K Bells, and you can find all sorts of free content there that's going to help you achieve your goals for little or no money, and it'll save you a ton of time. So I hope to see you there. Thanks again.
Thank you. See you guys.
See you guys.